Welcome to On Point Labor Day edition. Vance, a lot of action this weekend. Saratoga and Del Mar closed. Kentucky Downs opens. Grade 1 races for 2-year-olds. Breeders' Cup Classic, the headliner among several. Frosted in action in the Woodward. We'll start with that. Grade 1, win and you're in. It's on TV, etc. I've tried to beat Frosted both times. This will be the time he probably loses because I can't make a case against him.
Yeah, the more you look at the race, the more the 1 to 2 morning line odds are definitely justifiable in Frosted's case. This race is going to pan out a little differently than the Whitney, however. Last time we kind of caught by surprise with him going straight out to the lead in the Whitney, setting really fast pace and then holding on comfortably to win by a couple of lengths. This time he's got a real speedball. He's facing in Braidster, who won the Stephen Foster Monmouth Cup, a true speed horse. He's going to sit off of him for most of the race, I think, then probably take over. As far as a possible upsetter, you could look to the other Kieran McLaughlin horse, Mubtaahij. Mubtaahij, thank you. It took me a couple of
That's
seconds
how I say
there.
it anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the correct way. His stablemate, they faced each other 3 times already, twice in the Triple Crown last year. Earlier this year in the Dubai World Cup, where Mubtaahij actually finished second to Cal Chrome and ran a good third in the Suburban Handicap in his lone interim start. So he's my possible upsetter in this race, but Frosted will be hard to beat.
Yeah, I think, you can look at last year, and I think there were questions of how good Frosted was, and obviously running behind Triple Crown champion Pharaoh and Keen Ice in the Travers. But, the reality to me is he has been consistent. Even when he wasn't winning every race, he was firing. Once they figured out whatever bothered him in Florida, the Wood Memorial was good, ran okay in the Derby. Belmont, he just got beat by better horses, and that was the story last year. And this year, he's certainly found his stride back in America. Mile and a quarter questions, I think, are legitimate, but we don't need to answer those in the Woodward. I feel like I said this on Steve Bick. If this were the Jockey Club Gold Cup, even ignoring the mile and a quarter, maybe you take a stab against them, a la Blame. This isn't the race they want to win. It'd be the Classic 5 weeks later. But with this amount of time between races, I do think they want to win, and they want to go into the Classic with as much buzz as possible, and certainly being by a son of Tapit, a future career as a stallion, certainly already in the offing as a Met Mile winner, but can only add to that with wins. So I feel like they're here to win, and you mentioned the 2 horses that would be the upsetters. Braidster if he steals it, Mubtaahij if he grinds it out. I'll look at them in exact as if they're paying more than $10. Otherwise, I'll just watch and hope my single gets home.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It looks more like a watching race for me, and coming to just like 4 weeks after the Whitney, this seems like a pretty good spot for him as a final Breeders' Cup prep. The Jockey Club Gold Cup traditionally hasn't been particularly strong, and it will probably come up a deeper race in a general sense, just because of the purse is so much higher than the Woodward. But
right.
I think the Woodward works better for Frosted, and he doesn't have to run back-to-back mile and a quarters. He's got a lot more time, an extra 4 or 5 weeks before the Breeders' Cup. So this looks like you said, this is a spot that they are hoping to win, and I think he will.
Yeah, and we'll probably get to this as we get into the Breeders' Cup calendar, but, last year I flirted with the idea, and maybe I'll actually post it this year, of a piece about the Gold Cup's place on the calendar. Not only do we have Frosted running now, and very, very unlikely for the Jockey Club Gold Cup, but now the Pennsylvania Derby takes all the good 3-year-olds away with that kind of purse and bonuses for having won certain races. So we don't even get the good 3-year-olds making their traditional step up in the Gold Cup. Having said that, I do agree that it'll be deep this year because Frosted, Chrome, and Arrogate, the 3 top choices for the Classic, aren't going to be there. So here's an opportunity at a mile and a quarter to win a very prestigious race. So, some good, some bad with it. We'll talk more about that, obviously, as we get through September. Grade 1 races for 2-year-olds. They're not for points, but certainly an early look at the Kentucky Derby. Win Las Vegas said they plan to open their future book on the Derby either late next week or early the week after. So certainly these races will play a role in who opens up as the early favorites. I'm keen on Classic Empire and the Hopeful. Have you looked at either of these fields or have any thoughts on this group yet?
I have not looked at the fields yet. I've kind of looked at the 2-year-old filly races that are both going to be held on Saturday, the Del Mar Debutante and the Spinaway. Sweet Loretta looked very interesting for Todd Pletcher in the spin-away, and then out west, of course, we've got American Pharaoh's full sister, American Cleopatra. It's a tough race for her, but coming off that surprising debut win, it'll be interesting to see what she performs like on Saturday. So I've looked at the 2-year-old filly races so far, not quite gotten to the hopeful or futurity yet.
Yes, Zaya to vocal and being excited about American Cleopatra, even to the point where he was saying, hey, let's tone it down. She hasn't even raced yet. And then the gates opened and she hadn't taken any money. I did not understand that dynamic. I fully expected her to be 2-5. I didn't bet her. I don't even watch the race live. I missed it. But when I went back and did watch it, I mean, she was much the best. I didn't understand why she didn't take money. I mean, we were talking about this horse for 2 months.
Yeah, it was certainly lost in the shuffle. I think the race went off about 5 to 10 minutes after the Haskell was run, and I happened to catch it. I turned my TV channel and watched her debut on television, and I was totally caught up in the Haskell Invitational moment in the immediate aftermath, and totally missed her 7-1 odds. If I had been paying more attention, I certainly would have put a few bucks down.
I agree. And you know who else broke her maiden on Haskell Day?
Well, let me know.
Rachel's Valentina. Yeah, last year. So, productive day elsewhere away from Monmouth. And I guess the Monmouth angle from our conversation is Bradester to bring it back full circle. But neither one of us is opposing Frosted on paper anyway, it sounds like.
No, I mean, Bradester possibly has a chance to steal it if the track is playing favorably in that direction, but I just don't see him getting a 1 1/8 against the likes of Frosted.
Yeah, and for me as a Chrome backer, I mean, I hope Frosted wins by 20. I mean, I want him to take all the money possible. I have a lot of respect for his talent. I think Chrome is better at 1.25 miles. So I want to see him win this and help my price on the likely Breeders' Cup favorite. So that's what I'll be watching for live from Kentucky Downs. So please retweet my pictures.
Absolutely. Enjoy yourself down there in southern Kentucky.
All right, will do, and we'll talk to you next week.